Black Ops 6 is finally here, so I got y'all with the new absolute best settings so you can pop off and actually enjoy the game. Which the focus on this video is literally every single setting in the game for console, PC, all the audio, all the movement, all your aim, besides the keybinds because we are on controller today. And I do use an Xbox Elite's V2 controller, so I have paddles on the back, allowing me to have very good aim while also having very good movement. If you don't have a fancy controller, you can play claw, so you have your pointer finger hitting the top buttons instead of having that pull the trigger, or you can go over to your button layout and then you can swap this over to bumper jumper tactical. This can allow you to jump with that top left bumper, and then you can crouch with that right stick, so then you can have good aim while still having very good movement. Now for the stick layout preset, just keep that on default typically. And then for the sensitivity, all the good players including myself are using 7.7, although you'll see some people using like 6.6 and 8.8. The reason you want to stay in that lower sense is so you have very good centering. You can have very good aim with everything, so don't really think about your aim with the sensitivity. You can literally get used to anything. This is more so you have better centering, which then leads to better aim. That white down the center of the screen, you want to be able to put that on where an enemy could be, then ADS in fire, so you don't have to like ADS drag over and fire. This is going to make that centering so much more just more consistent. Simplify controls preset off, low motor strain preset off, bumper ping personal preference, I like mine on off. You can swap the bumpers with the triggers, and so if you just want to fire the gun a little bit faster because you're hitting a button rather than pulling a trigger, you can swap those. For me, I just prefer the trigger. Controller vibration, a lot of you guys probably have this on. You'll have better aim if it's on off, because if you have less things shaking in your hand, theoretically you should have better aim. Dead zone inputs, a lot of people don't really think about this or don't realize how important some of these things are. So if I have my left stick min at 0, my guy's gonna automatically walk forward even with 1, but it's not really as much. And if I have it on like 2, 3, I just feel like the game isn't as responsive. For the left stick max, by default this is gonna be at 99. The reason I have mine at 55, and I recommend you guys to keep it between 50 and 75, you kind of got to mess around in like a private match and see what you like the most. This is going to make it so you can get to max movement speed a little bit faster. So if it's at 99, you have to move this all the way over there, like the stick from the center to the edge, if you want to hit 100% movement speed. But if you have it a little bit lower, you only need to move it from here to over there to get to max movement speed, and so you can have a little bit better omni movement. Right stick min, I have mine on at 5 because if I have it on 3 or 0, my guys, the aim is going to be drifting a bunch, so much stick drift. Although I still have stick drift, but if I have it on anything past that, it feels a little bit just really weird on the game. Again, a little bit personal preference. Most of you guys should be fine with 5. Right stick max 99, left trigger and right trigger have that on 0. The second you hit the trigger, your gun is going to fire, and that's why I don't really need to flip the bumpers with the triggers. Now over for the aiming settings. So I do like to put mine on 0.85, so when I am ADS, it's a little bit slower, it feels a little bit stickier. The game just came out, and so I need to mess around with this a little bit more. Once rank play comes out, that's when I really dial in, because I'm only playing against like the top players in the game. But a lot of you guys should do fine with like 0.85 or 0.95. I wouldn't mess around with that. In a private match, you can go against some bots and then just get like 100 kills a day. That's what you should do for a little 20-minute warm-up session. It makes you way better of a player. Look inversion standard, aiming advanced settings. I have my aim response curve type on dynamic. Basically, if there's 2 players in front of you, it's going to allow you to snap to both players a little bit more consistently. You don't really need the other ones. Well, I guess standard is pretty good, but you're going to see every good player with dynamic. Custom sensitivity per zoom, I like to put mine on everything on 0.85. I feel like if everything's on 0.85, or like if all your sensitivities are all the same, you have less input lag. I swear there's a little bit of input lag if I don't keep everything the same, and so I recommend you guys to do so as well. Target aim assist obviously on. All the keyboard and mouse players hate me. Motion sensor behavior off, and then yeah, we don't need to go advanced on there. Now for the movement settings. So sprint assist, it's going to make it so the game just automatically sprints if you have it on. If you move that left stick forward and you have it on tactical sprint assist, your guy's going to automatically start tactical sprinting. The reason I like to have mine on just on, so my guy sprints rather than tack sprinting the second I hit that left stick, is because if I'm running up to someone and they're tack sprinting and I'm running, I'm going to be able to bring up my gun a little bit faster than them, and so you actually will win here and there more gunfights. But then you got to click down on that left stick to activate your tactical sprint, so you can wear out your controllers a little bit faster. So that's why you see a lot of people with tactical sprint assist on. For me though, I like it on. Mantle assist off, and then in here just have everything on off. You never want to accidentally mantle. You want to be able to you want to be in control of everything. Crouch assist off, corner slice off. This just does a little animation when you slide around the corner. I don't really want that. Slide / dive behavior, this is super important. Make sure this is on hybrid. This is going to make it so you can dolphin dive very responsively, like just the second you hit, or the second you basically click, you hold down on the left stick and hit the slide button button at the same time, so you do a little combo. That's going to make you dolphin dive instantly. The second you hit the slide button, then you're going to slide. If you have it on anything else, there's going to be a delay when you try to do anything. Slide only will remove that delay when you try to slide cancel, but then you can't dolphin dive. So hybrid's definitely the way to go. If you're not used to that, you're going to be accidentally dolphin diving a bunch, but trust me, once you're used to it, it is definitely meta, especially in Warzone. Auto door peak off, automatic airborne mantle off, sprint restore and slide maintain sprint. Make sure those are both on, just makes the game a lot more responsive. Parachute automatic behavior off, mantle cancels reload on, movement advanced settings. For all this, I have auto move forward off, ground mantle, we want that off, tactical sprint activation. So this is just going to make it so I tack sprint by just clicking that left stick once. If you have it on auto tack sprint, it doesn't really matter. Plunging underwater free, sprinting door bash on. And then for the vehicle advanced settings, this stuff doesn't really matter. Just, you know, remove all the delays, so everything is just very responsive. You don't want ever a delay within anything. No Lag VPN is a simple to use VPN that routes only your gaming connection through its servers while leaving non-gaming connections through your regular Wi-Fi. So if you're watching YouTube while playing, or someone in your house is downloading the entire Indiana Jones trilogy, your gaming connection won't be affected. This will maximize your Wi-Fi speed, giving you a way better ping. Also, queue times are at a record high because of SVMM, so with no lag VPN, it will drastically reduce those queue times while also sometimes giving you an easier lobby because it's going to be pinging you to the closest server rather than a server that's over 1,000 miles away. Basically, you won't get punished for being simply good at the game. So if your KD isn't above a 0.6 or your weekly is above a 1.0, you'll definitely see a difference with no lag VPN, and so will your friends, because they won't get dragged into lobbies with bad ping that are filled with unemployed basement dwellers who are sweating profusely for no reason. Overall, if you want your game to run smoothly and protect your data from rage hackers, make sure you go download No Lag VPN today. I'll have their link down in the description, and you can get a whopping 64% off. For the combat settings, make sure you have your ADS site behavior on hold, weapon mount activation ADS plus melee, dedicated melee weapon activation hold melee, armor plate behavior apply all, C4 detonation activation all at once, equipment behavior hold, manual fire behavior press, combat advanced settings. This is all going to be a little bit personal preference besides the interact/reload behavior. I like to have it on prioritize interact. You're going to notice when you try to reload, you're going to be accidentally picking up things on the ground if you're not used to it, but this is actually comes in handy. So if you're in a gunfight and you run out of ammo, instead of reloading your gun, typically there's going to be a gun below you, especially if you're playing like on the floor, especially if you're playing hard point or in Warzone. This is very helpful to loot very fast. You can pick up the gun off the floor instead of reloading, so then you know you have a higher chance to kill the enemy because you're not spending that time reloading. And then all you have to do is just hold your reload button if you want to reload. Sprint cancels reload off, ADS stick swap off, depleted ammo weapon switch on, body shield / finishing move behavior, prioritize finishing move. Again, a little bit personal preference. It doesn't really affect the gameplay too much. If you guys do find this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button down below. Leave a comment if you guys are enjoying the game, and if you want to just get better at the game, see the best Black Ops 6 settings, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the noties on. Overlay advanced settings. This is all gonna be personal preference. Ping wheel delay off. I guess it's not all personal preference. There's a little bit of a delay on everything in this game, so just remove all delays. Inventory control, make sure that's on directional buttons. Wheel behavior hold, and that's gonna wrap it up for like the overall controller and the aiming movement settings. Now over to the graphics one. So if you're on console, it's gonna look a little bit different, but just follow with me and you'll see the ones that apply to you. So I like full screen borderless because my thing will crash sometimes on full screen exclusive, because it's just I use a 360 hertz monitor and some things just bug out when I do that. So full screen borderless for me, but full screen exclusive if you can is definitely better. Display monitor doesn't matter, same with the adapter. Aspect ratio automatic. Make sure you download the shaders before playing. Display gamma or whatever it is. I like to have 2.2. Let me know in the comments if 2.4 is better. I apologize, I was doing some testing. 2.2 seems a little bit better, but I only did a little bit of testing. On the brightness, that's just personal preference. NVIDIA reflex low latency, I like on plus boost. If you're having a little bit of like stuttering issues in the game, you can just have it on. Eco mode preset custom. VSync gameplay off, same with the VSync menus off. Custom frame rate limit, I like to have that on custom. 300 in game, 60 on the menus, and this just makes so your PC or your whatever you're using doesn't work harder than it needs to in certain situations. Reduce menu render resolution, I like to have it on native. Pause game rendering off. Reduce quality when inactive off. Sorry for my speech, it's horrible right now, oh my god. Focus mode send. High dynamic range off, and that's gonna wrap it up for display. Now for the quality, so graphic preset obviously custom, keep it at 100. Maybe in the future once there's more testing on the game you might want to do 105 or 95, but 100's a good safe area right now. dynamic resolution off, upscaling / sharpening. This is going to make your game look 10 times, 100 times better. Make sure it's on fidelity and then max that out to 100. Keep it between like 50 or 100. Personal preference. Most of you guys are going to like 100. And then off on here, VRAM, scale target. I have a dual PC setup, so this PC is only gaming, so I have it on 90. If I was on a regular PC setup and I'm like streaming and things like that, I have it on 80. And then variable rate shading on. If your PC starts to just feel a little bit weird or your game starts to crash, make sure that's on off. Texture resolution. So we want to find a balance between being able to see the enemies very easy, but also having very high frames, more so on the frames because visibility on this game is pretty good. So I like to have it on normal. High, I just lose a lot of FPS even though I literally have a 4090 and I'm on a dual PC setup. Texture filter anastrophic. Low, depth of field off. Detail quality, you actually can see a little bit more like through the plants if you have it on a worse quality. So if you find those bush Wookiees, there you go, you can see them easier. Particle resolution very low. Bullet impacts, you will get more FPS if you have this on off, but I like to have it on when I'm testing recoil patterns. Persistent effects off. Shader quality on. You actually want it on low. I don't know why it was on high. Sometimes, well, I guess a little bit personal preference right there. If it's just like a blur on like how you see on the right, then it might be a little bit easier to see the enemy. I feel like it's easier on the left because there's just less of a shadow. For the on-demand texture streaming, minimal. I think I said that word right for the first time. Local texture streaming quality, normal. Shadow quality, I like to have mine on very low. It seems like it resets some of my things. I don't know why. Screen space shadows on high. This is going to make your camos look a little bit better. If you don't care about that and you just want the FPS, make sure that's on off. Occlusion space lighting off. Yeah, definitely reset some settings. Screen space reflections high. Oh my. Static reflection quality, make sure that's on low. Dude, this is pissing me off. I went through and made sure everything was good before this video. Tessellation near. Volumetric quality low. Deferred physics quality off. Weather grid volumes, oh my god, everything on off. We don't need any of that stuff. We're going to be going over to the view now. Motion reduction preset off. Field of view, super important. So keyboard and mouse doesn't really matter. On the controller, supposedly, and I do notice this a little bit unless there's a couple other factors, anything past 107 you do lose a tiny bit of aim assist. And yes, you can see more of your screen, but then all the targets are smaller. Multiplayer maps aren't that big, especially in this game, so you don't really need that high of an FOV. So if I'm playing ranked play, I will be using 103, but in Warzone, you know, you have a bigger map, so it's a little bit helpful to actually have a higher field of view. And then it's also more fun to play when you have a higher one because it just feels like you're moving super fast. So just for like enjoyment reasons, I like 115, but if I'm sweating my balls off, I'll do 103. ADS field of view affected. Weapon field of view default. Third person field of view 90. Vehicle field of view default. Motion blur off. By default, they have weapon motion blur on. I don't know why. It makes it easier to kill those bad players just because they don't realize about that stuff. But like by default, you know, they should always have that off because it looks horrible. First person camera movement least. Third person camera movement least. Third person ADS transition. First person inverted flashbang off. And that's gonna wrap it up for the graphics. Now for the audio settings. So this game, you can actually pay to have better audio settings, which is kind of crazy. So now we have pay to win. Yeah, actually pay to win in the game. Pretty crazy. It's always kind of been like that for like, you know, your hardware and things like that, but now it's like literally pay to win settings. I believe the Vault Edition gives you them like automatically. I haven't messed around with like here we will get to it in a second. So for here though, master game volume, personal preference, I like to turn down the music. The gameplay music in this game is actually pretty good, so I don't mind to have that on. And then effects volume 90 so you can hear the footsteps and things a little bit easier. Dialogue was actually helpful because your characters do speak a lot. For the speaker / headphone game sound device, default system device, speaker output, stereo, enhanced headphone mode. I'm having a little bit of audio PC issues, so I'm trying this on off, but it might sound better for you on, and I think it definitely would. Audio mix, Treyarch mix, mono audio off, and then mute game 1 minimize, personal preference, stuff like that, but feel free to copy all of my things. I get really bad tinnitus, like really, well, not all the time. It's just sometimes, so I just have that on. Hitmarker preset default, but you guys can have some fun within there. Voice chat volume. We got some loud motherfuckers in this game, so we got that on 50. By default, it's on 25, but I couldn't really hear anyone. Voice chat on, proximity chat on, body shield chat on, last word voice chat on, game voice channel all lobby, and don't be a pussy. Make sure your proximity chat is on. You got to be able to talk or hear the enemies when they yell at you when you get taken hostage. Microphone volume. You want to be the loudest in the lobby. You want every single person to hear you and what you have to say, so we're gonna keep that on 100. 100 even if it's distorted. Test microphone off. Oh well, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. Push to talk if you're on keyboard and mouse, and you can just like hit a button to like speak in the mic, or you can just keep it on. Microphone input device, that's all default for me. Now for the interface, don't click off yet. This is actually very important. Make sure you also follow the Twitch if you want to see me live. I am a very good player, I would say. Hit iridescent a lot, so if you want to get better, definitely stop by the Twitch and get the free Twitch rewards. Sorry for the 15 plugs in this video. Visual support preset off. Menu prompts automatic. Gameplay tips off. If you need the tips and the tits for some reason, you can have that on. I like that off. I do need some tits though. Skip introduction movie on. Skip kill cam off. Tool tips off. Telemetry, I like to be able to see my FPS, my server latency, and the packet loss, although it does get in my head sometimes, but it's a good excuse whenever you get shit on. And then for the readability, I like to actually have subtitles. Sometimes they are helpful, so but sometimes they are annoying and distracting, so it's just, you know, personal preference. You guys can copy everything on here. Color customization, very important. You always want to get that color customization. So I like to be I like to be yellow on there. For the team, I like to have my team be green, then my party be blue. Up to you guys. You guys can really choose. The other Call of Duties, you actually could, you know, increase the saturation. I wish you could do that in here. I think they just kind of incorporate it into the game, but like, you know, my bad eyes can't really tell the difference between a lot of these. And you guys can see there's actually, I think it's like a little bit of a glitch. So I have my team on blue, but it's showing them up as black. So you know, you might have to go through there and figure that out. In game it doesn't seem glitched, but it just messes with my head when I show it right here. For the enemies, I like to have them on red, but fun fact, the human eye picks up yellow first. So if you're a human, definitely, and you want to be able to see the enemies very quickly, have it on yellow. But I feel like yellow blends in with a lot of things, so that's why I have red. Orange is also another thing. That's where we see a lot of street signs like cones and things like that as orange. And then but you guys can choose really whatever you want. Pink is actually pretty helpful. I really like the pink one. It stands out a bunch. Neutral, just, you know, personal preference. Color filter, not personal preference. You got to do filter too if you want to have the most vibrant game possible. Color filter, target both, and then make sure you max out those both on 100. I'm not going to be going over to the next tab, so you guys don't get all my IP address and everything like that. I think that is going to wrap it up for the video. If I did miss anything, let me know in the comments so I can pin your comment, or I can make a pinned comment with an updated list. And I do updated settings after every single season update and every season reloaded update, so subscribe to stay tuned. How to get that last plug in there. Enjoy Black Ops 6. Deuces.